Welcome to Visionary Voices, the podcast where purpose speaks, faith leads, and powerful stories of vision, resilience, and impact come to life. I'm your host, Dr. Shante Brewer, and each episode we sit down with leaders, change makers, creatives, entrepreneurs, educators, and everyday visionaries who are turning adversity into assignment and calling into action. This is more than a conversation. This is a space for inspiration, transformation, and truth. So whether you are building, healing, leading, or simply trying to hear God clearly in your next season, you are in the right place. Let's lean in, live fully, learn deeply, and listen for the voices that are shaping vision for such a time as this. This is Visionary Voices. Melvin Blackmon, an author, poet, creative, and community-minded leader whose life and work reminds us that words can build, restore, challenge, and transform. Melvin has used poetry and storytelling to speak from real places, not those polished places only, but real places, places of struggle, growth, faith, reflection, and purpose. His work invites people to listen deeper, think higher, and believe that their own story can still become something powerful. So I am just so elated to have this man here. Once again, thank you, Melvin, so much for being here on Visionary Voices. And I want you to know that you are here particularly, like, I hand select who I bring on the show.
Is that right?
Very much so.
Okay.
And I do so because in order for you to have a visionary voice, guess what you got to be?
A visionary. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay.
So if none of you pick up on this, you're about to pick up, because I get it that some of my guests you may have not heard of before, but they might have heard of it.
I hope so.
Especially if they was down there in that Arkansas, that Atlanta, that Chicago area. But nonetheless, I just want to point out that all my guests are visionaries, and please believe that they have overcame something, and we're amplifying their voices. Because Metley, it's a lot of noise out there. It's a lot of this going on, but we need to amplify those voices that are actually saying something.
Yeah.
Because everybody that's talking, that don't mean they saying nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's get down to the nitty gritty before we get, to the books, the poetry, the work, because we got a lot to talk about. Who is Melvin Blackmon? When the mic is off, the room is dark. There's no noise. Who is he?
Say when the mic is off, huh?
The mic is off.
Well, you know what? I wasn't always the poet. So I want to be honest with you all. I was a rapper. I was a lyricist, and pretty much everything I wrote either started out negative or ended negative. So I was actually freestyle battling in the middle of the street, and a young lady drove up to me. And she was just standing there watching. And she was just, looking at me, kind of like gazing upon me. And she was listening. And of course, the crowd was going wild. I would like to say that I won, even though those days are over with. But the young lady stopped me after I stopped rapping. And she said, you know what? You should do something powerful with your gift. And she was just giving me this cold stare the whole time I was rhyming. And she handed me a church flyer. And we all have something positive on the inside of us.
Yeah.
Nobody is 100% negative. Nobody is one way. We all have different sides, whether we hide that side or not. So I went to the church and I wanted to do something positive. So I was passing out church flyers in the community, and she knew she had me hooked at that point. She knew she had me locked in. Okay, I got him working. So she said, I'm throwing a poetry set and I need you to help me. So I passed out flyers in the community, and it was a great turnout. So we got a lot of people to RSVP. And she said, you know what? I don't have any poets. And that's how she got me. She said, you think you could write something? And when she asked me to write poetry, I automatically wanted to write something positive just because it was poetry, even though my raps were all negative. So I definitely want to show love and get a shout out to Miss Anita B. Sadly, her life was taken by senseless gun violence. And I want to dedicate The Conquering Lion to her, my new book. And I always want to keep her in mind because anytime I wrote a poem, I wanted her to hear it. I got a lot of confidence, from her. She was a big sister. She was a mentor. Right. So, yeah, that's my spiel about myself, man. I'm spilling beans. You got me spilling beans over here. Nobody knew that. Nobody knew that.
Because I'm looking, y'all, because I've known him for, 12, 13 years? And I'm like,
Nobody
wait a minute. Right. I knew about the freestyling and Hyde Park and whatnot, but,
Yep.
Wow. So, yes, shout out to Miss Anita that, wow. So what weight did that carry to know that, like you said, you were cognizant that I'm out here, I'm rapping. Yeah, I sound good, but it's starting negative or it's ending negative. Yeah. And then for somebody to say, I see your gift. It's like, yes.
That quick.
So you learned very early on that, man, my words must hold something.
Oh, wait.
Yes. And how did that shift your entire mindset of just having that understanding of your power?
That is a great question because the word that you used was heavy. And that's exactly how I felt. Because when I was writing, things come to me quickly because I used to freestyle battle. So it takes me 4 or 5 minutes to write a poem. Mm. It's the same skill that you do when you freestyle. Stuff just pops up in my head. It's just now I type it. So as I was writing the poem, I was like, okay, this is weird. It to me, it seemed powerful. I didn't know how anybody else was going to take it because I had never performed a poem in front of anybody. When I got halfway through that poem, I was like, okay, this is scary. It's to bring back the word that you said, heavy. By the end of that poem, you don't want to speak things into existence, but a lot of people get assassinated for speaking the truth.
Well, yeah.
And I was like, I'm trying to shake this vibe, and I'm like, no, I'm tripping. So I'm hesitating on writing lines, but I said, I gotta write it. I gotta get everything out and just look at it later. Because the stuff that was coming out was different. It seemed powerful to me. My very first performance, the crowd felt the same way that I did. I was writing the poems about myself because I know how my lyrics affect people. You could rap about a gun and never touch the gun, and somebody else will go and touch a gun. You could rap about crime that you never did, and you will inspire somebody else to go do a crime, and they sitting in jail and you selling records. Mm-hmm. So that power and that feeling that I felt, it was heaviness. And then that burden was it was lifted off me when I saw the crowd reaction. And I was like, whoa, it was lifted off me. But at the same time, I was like, wow, I got a responsibility now. And then you start writing more, and then, okay, it's not a mistake. That third poem that I wrote, Music Before Crack, that's when I got scared of myself. I wrote Purpose in Life, I wrote Black Zombies, and I was in fear of my own self when I wrote Music Before Crack because I was like, okay, something is going on. Something is happening. So that was a great question that you asked, about how did I feel, and feeling heavy.
Yes, because I think sometimes we get the misconception that, first off, we think that leadership and promotion is linear. So we just think everything's going to be peachy keen. I'm always going to feel super confident. And we always talk about the fear, but we also forget about the fact of internally that you start thinking about the what ifs. Yeah. You start thinking about how is this going to impact someone? Yeah. But the blessing in it all, that when we think back to that first question of who you are as a man, it appears that you've had this leadership role on your head from jump. But as soon as you realize that responsibility, you picked it up. Even though you were afraid, whether it was afraid of yourself, afraid of what could come, you still were like, I'm a boss up. Yeah. I'm a take this breath in, I'm gonna take this breath out, and I'm gonna go get on the stage and I'm gonna do what I gotta do. Yeah. And that's courage.
Yes.
And the blessing part of it is, I love how you said that, I can write about a gun and never touch it. But I done inspired you to go pick up a gun. Yeah. And here you doing 15, 20 to life.
For sure.
And I'm out here selling records.
Exactly.
So when we think about that, and I'm also considering, so Melvin is a Chicago native. Yes, He's traveled the world. He's gone many places, seen many things. But growing up in the environment that you did, what are some things, and noticing what was inside of you, from knowing early that you had a gift, that you had a responsibility, that you were walking around with this weight? How did that shape the man that you've become today? What are some things that you had to overcome? I'm trying to get all up in your business now.
interesting, when you show somebody the truth, it's always going to be in the back of their mind, even if they decide to be negative briefly. So when I was 4 years old, my mother had me reading Langston Hughes poems and reciting them by heart. And then when you get off into the world and get off into the streets of Chicago, by the time I'm in second grade, I'm getting attacked by gangs. I was in detention for the whole year, just for defending myself against people that was a lot older than me. So you're in the world at this point, and you surviving and you scrapping and you scraping, and that little knowledge that your mom drops or your dad drops on you, it's in the back of your mind. But now you're in the battlefield, and you're trying to survive, and you start becoming your environment subconsciously, not even realizing it. So, I was becoming this rapper or, this person, not just me, where we could appear to be street, have that image, have that walk, have that talk. But, the Bible says, let no man despise the youth. So when you introduce somebody to Christ, it will come back around. They never forget it. You will never depart. So that's what happened. The things at a young age that were showed to me sustained me until I got older. And then all it took was that one person to say, boom, you got a gift. Somebody that had the courage to say that.
Yeah.
You don't know what a person is going to say. Somebody, I didn't know this girl from a can of paint. I'm in the street freestyle battling.
Right. And she hearing you say all this stuff.
Yeah.
And she still was like, I'm gonna walk up to him and tell him.
And then the individual that was in there, now this young lady was sweet as pie, but she's a helpful person. The individual that was in the car with her threw up a gang sign in my face, and I'm like, what's going on? So
you had yin and yang right there.
Yeah. So being a leader, back to your question, all it takes is one person to tell a kid you could be a leader. You could have an outlet. So that's what I love about poetry. It gives people a voice and gives them an opportunity to be a leader that normally wouldn't be a leader, because not everybody's a speaker. Not everybody's going to get up and be a pastor. Poetry gives young people an opportunity to be a leader in their own right and be men and be strong women from environments where they normally wouldn't feel comfortable. I was blown away when I got a standing ovation for my poem, when I did my first poem. So I went from that little poetry set, and then like some Deltas invited me out. Next thing you know, I went from 150, 200 people to 2,000 people. And I got up there, I was being a hothead. I'm from Chicago, I don't care if they don't like me, So I was expecting like to get booed off the stage, but I was like, okay, I got this bird now. I'm about to be a leader. Let's go, let's get it. So I said my last word, and I don't even know how the crowd knew it was my last word. But as soon as I said my last word, the crowd jumped up, started screaming, and then they started screaming encore. And that's what made me write more, because I didn't even have another poem at the time.
You like, y'all want me to just repeat it?
Do the other one again, So that's what made me, start writing more. When I started writing more, that third poem, I was like, okay, this is a gift. Like, this is scary. So, yeah.
Wow, your gift will make room for you.
You got me digging in.
Yes, come on, bring it all out.
I'm telling folks some things they didn't know.
Yes, because what we want is, we never know who is looking for their version of that Miss Anita.
Yeah.
And while granted, you had the blessing of yours was face-to-face, for somebody else, it could end up being screen-to-face.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter, and look, now I'm about to dig deep. Back in my old English teacher days, I used to always talk about the pen-to-paper romance. And we know I got two bars. That's all I got for you. And I used to always tell the kids, like, well, granted, as you know, I love technology. I'm a geek when it comes to that, but it's still something about that pen to paper romance. And we know when we go in the Bible, it talks about write the vision, make it plain. So when you talk about how, yes, poetry can give young people an opportunity to be strong in their own right, it also makes them realize the power of their own individual voice.
Yes.
So one thing, and all my English teachers, shout out, drop in the comments, y'all. I almost feel like put some red pens down there. But we know that we would circle things and say word choice when maybe somebody was doing an essay and that's the wrong word, or you see what they trying to do, but you like, baby, I need you to get on there because you ain't quite there yet. But to know that when you step on that stage in that creative field of poetry, your word choice is everything.
Yeah.
So me and you could sit and we could have the same topic, but our poems are going to be different. We can literally say,
Yes.
oh, both of us are going to write a haiku right now.
Yes.
It's going to be completely different because your poetry, your art is literally going to be your life experience.
Exactly.
And like, in speaking of that, the courage that it has to take for you to take all the pain. Like you said, it was a moment where you were basically living in two worlds.
Yeah.
You got, shout out to OG Glenn. You got mama that's teaching you Black history, that you just like power to the people. You know all of this. You got dad. Dad is around. So this is not a situation where,
like he like that old school music.
Man, and he around the house singing with the uncles and stuff like that. So you got all of this great, good energy. He comes from a big family. I'm saying all this because I done been to the family reunion and stuff.
Right?
I done sung Bobby Blue Bland with his daddy and his uncles. I done seen a Gus thing. Shout out to Gus. But yeah, you have this great home environment, and we know nobody's family is perfect, but love is there. The intentionality is there. All of those things, but yet you have to leave the home and go out in the world. And as you said, as early as second grade, you're dealing with, I know Black people to be so beautiful.
Yeah.
I read the history and I see how they've been so full of passion, so many great things. And y'all smashing my head into the concrete. Y'all throwing up gang. What is going on? So how do you in turn take that pain, take that irony, dare I say, or those opposites, and decide, I'm about to do something positive. The world wants me to do something negative, but I realize I have power within me. And now at this point, I realize that I got a God-given gift. So how do you take all of that, combine it together and say, I'm about to glorify God. I'm about to be the change I want to see.
We identify ourselves a lot as gangsters. And a gangster's going to do what he want to do and say what he want to say. So I took the same mentality from freestyle battling in the streets, and I said, God admires neglected ghetto saints through adversity. Gangster. Come on.
Gangster.
You see what I'm saying? So, when you walk off your front porch, no matter how good or bad your upbringing was, and parents have to understand this too, kids are walking out into a battlefield. When you walk off that front porch and you walk into a battlefield, survival kicks in. Yes. I've seen people who grew up in married households, 20 to 30 years in jail, because they went outside and didn't feel secure about themselves, and they reacted to threats and different things in the environment. I've seen people who grew up in crack houses in Chicago in real life. I could say names, and I'm not gonna say names. Some of my friends, both parents on drugs. They're business owners, ministers, went to college, because here's the thing that we have to realize. Hatred is the cause of the demon that we see in people and young people. Hatred is more dangerous than poverty. If a person walks off that front porch and experiences hate, or hate from within, maybe friends or family, they can become more vicious than a person who had a more impoverished, upbringing. So just identity, poetry gives a person their own personal identity.
Yes.
Yeah, it gives a person their own personal ministry where you can be yourself and be accepted. You can be yourself and be accepted and be loved. So I grew my hair after my first performance. And it was like almost in a positive way. When I saw the crowd react, I looked in the mirror that day, and I was just standing looking in the mirror. And it's just transformed into the lion, the conquering lion, because in the real world or the fake world, you would get laughed at for just speaking Black history or speaking truth or being positive. And that goes back to that hate that I was talking about. A lot of people think because you raise your kids in a nice household, they're going to be an angel. And many of them,
Right.
parents, have no idea what their kids were doing. And those guys on, locked down right now. But I met some of their parents, and their parents were totally oblivious.
Wow.
Yeah. So that is what made me, that first performance that I did, that's what made me who I am today. That's what gave me the strength and the courage to minister, so to speak.
And I love that, because I definitely was going to ask you, do you feel as though poetry is a ministry and can minister to people?
It's a ministry.
Mm-hmm. Look, speak on it. Tell me more about it.
Poetry is a very powerful ministry. You can sum up everything you want to say in 4 minutes. I love pastors. I love what they do, the gift that they have. You don't have to worry about me talking for an hour straight. I respect the people who do it. I think it's amazing.
As a pastor myself, what you trying to say?
I love it. I respect it. I honor it. That's what I'm saying. I honor it because that is a gift. And I'm so happy that I wasn't given that heavy burden to be able to, take a scripture and bring everything together at the end, it takes a lot of strength to do that. So poetry gives us little people.
He didn't hit us with the little people.
Poetry gives us regular folk a ministry. It gives us regular folk a ministry.
I wouldn't even say y'all regular folk. Because think about how creative you got to be.
Yeah. And we can create a lot of multiple ministers. I performed at the Juvenile Detention Center in Pine Bluff. And one day they called me. The kid was being released. I don't know why. They called me up to the courtroom. And I'm talking about the baddest kid in there. And they released him, and they wanted me to see him get released. So I clapped and everything. And then they brought me to the office with the kid. They hung the kid's poem on the wall. A kid who I, encountered once in life, didn't know how I impacted the kid. He's a minister now as a poet.
Right.
His poetry is his ministry. Your art can be your ministry. Your dance can be your ministry. When you use your times and talent for God, God will bless you exceedingly and abundantly.
Yes.
So, whatever your ministry is, if you beat a bucket, I can't do that. That's talent.
Right.
I tried to play drum. I thought it was a joke until I actually tried to do it. I'm like, what? I'm like, this is for real. Like, it's a real talent. Like, man, put some ministry behind what you're doing. Put some truth behind what you're doing. The streets love my lyrics when I'm rapping the same way they do with poetry. So I was comfortable when I performed at prisons and juvenile detention centers and things of that nature because I never gang banged, but I was always surrounded by gangs because they wanted to hear me rap. So it was a feeling of comfort. A lot of times I'm more comfortable performing in those environments than a more positive or softer because I'm like, can they feel me? I know the streets gonna feel me. So that's my comfort zone. And that, I guess that brings us to this prison ministry that I'm about to participate in. And, I was asked to participate in. And I think that's an honor for somebody to look at me and pretty much choose a ministry.
Right.
Say, all right, you go do this.
Like we know you got a gift, so just where you want to use it at, baby. That's all we need to know.
So, yes.
And it is, I've always said for years, from working in communities, working with children, that I feel as though, especially those who have a gift that deals directly with the youth, with the babies, that we have to acknowledge what area our gifts fall in. So what I mean by that is some of our gifts are prevention. So you can stop somebody from even going down that wrong path.
Yeah.
Some of us, we're intervention. So they done already been out of there. Some of us are in restoration. And in knowing where you fit, that's key.
Yeah.
So I could imagine that, yes, you going into juvenile detention centers, because I remember teaching at one, and it's just, and you know what? It is so interesting because every time I mention it, people be like, oh dear God. It ain't what y'all think. It's what you think, but it's not what you think. Because when you walk in there, they don't just tell you a list of, oh, that one did that, that one did that, because they still have privacy. But when you see them in that state, when you see them locked down, or down bad, as the kids would say, you look at them and it's like you look in their eyes and you see, you are a baby.
Yeah.
You literally, not saying what you did is right, not condoning what you did. You made a mistake. You made a bad decision. And chances are when you talk to them, you find out it was the influences that they allowed to get in. Because like you said, sometimes it ain't even about what's going on at home. It's about what was going on at school, what was going on the block. I wanted to be cool. I wanted to hang with this person. And for you to be able to go into the prisons, go into, and I remember you telling me before that you did a maximum security facility. And it's like to know that those people, that they're touched because, they're considered the least of them, because think about it, even with our government, they have no rights. They're not even barely looked at as human. So for somebody to have a gift and say, I'm going to take time out to go talk to those people that everybody has locked up and forgotten about, but yet it's supposed to be someplace, it's supposed to be someplace where recarceration, we're supposed to, build them up so when they come out, they don't make the same mistakes.
See, anybody can end up in there. And that's the humility part. If you don't have that one person to come up to you and tell you, oh, you need to do something positive. Anybody can end up in there. When I was at Tucker Max prison, I performed and it was a different environment. It was like brand new again. It felt like the first time I performed. It's different nationalities in there. You got black, you got Mexican, you got white, you got all the gangs in there separated. When I walked up to the prison yard, and one of the inmates told me, he told me something that I will never forget. He said, never let somebody convince you that growing up without a father or growing up in the hood, this dude was a killer, is the reason that we did what we did. He said we did what we did because we wanted to fit in. He said we did what we did because we wanted to. We thought it was cool. And that brings me back to that point is, don't think because your child walked out of a house that had chandeliers in it or was decent middle class, don't think that when he walked out into that war zone, something couldn't affect his mind and make him snap, because it's hatred that makes people snap. It's not poverty. And I was walking out of the prison after I performed, and the guard was just staring at me. From this day forward, I always stay calm. If somebody threat, I'll give you a giggle. Because he said something so weird. He looked at me and he said, and this is after I performed Rock the House. Hundreds of inmates, Rock the House. We held hands and did a prayer and everything. And he said, you too calm. You're going to end up in here one day.
I'm like, excuse me, sir?
How could you say that to a poet? When I tell you that from that day forward, I will smile at any threat. Like, that was the most weird thing I had ever heard. Like, and be positive and, not respond to negativity and just be an adult and be grown, because it goes back to what we just talked about. Any of us could end up in there if you don't have that person or that parent. When you use your time and your talents for God, a lot of anxiety, a lot of anger, a lot of stress is going to be out. If you wake up every day and you go to work and you wait for Friday and you go to a bar and you have a drink and you do the same thing again every week, a human being is not created to live a meaningless life with no purpose.
Amen.
I'm not knocking you for having a drink, but you are created by God, which means some truth is in you somewhere, burning to get out. You might be drinking because you want to take your mind off that truth that's inside you. You're trying to fight it. You know what I'm saying? Because God put the truth in all of us. You know what I mean? And, we all know Black history, or we all feel like praying at some point. We all called on God
At
for
some
any
point.
at some point.
Yes.
So yeah, touching on some powerful things.
Yes, and one thing that, and I get it, that it's my personal bias and just what I've gone through in life, that I'm constantly reminded while the blood is running warm in your veins.
Come on.
While you still have the breath, like you have the very creative breath of life. Clearly God has said, I'm not done with you.
Yes.
Like you can fight it, you go try to fight it, really.
Yeah.
You can kick, you could scream, but baby, I am that I am.
Yeah, you the toughest one. Man. You
What you mean I'm the toughest one?
you the toughest one. Ain't no gangsters out here. If you don't know Dr. Brewer's story, whoo, I mean, it's just no words to, witness you overcome that heart transplant and just living a life more full than anybody that I can think of, or that that I could name, including myself.
I mean, I think we tit for tat for countries and continents. Like,
Uncle Mel slowing down.
but like at the end of the day, though, we all, like you said, we all have something in us, and I want to say I thank God still for Miss Anita. I thank God for Miss Glenn. Look, I thank God for the OG Melly. But it's just a blessing to know that despite everything that came at you. So in my house, in my living room, because as my mother say, I love all the Jesus decor. She was like, if it got Jesus in it, it's going to be in Shantae's house. But I actually have spiritual gangster. And now I'm thinking that like I might need to get you one. Because think about it, when you're going into all these different places, and sometimes we just get caught up in doing the work, but we forget it's spiritual warfare that's attached to that.
Yes.
And the fact that you like, hey, I'm gonna turn on the lion. Because baby, it got to be more like symbolic. It's something that you got to tap into. And, you got your Lion of Judah.
Yeah.
You ain't flat out call it that, but I'm just going to go ahead and say he got that Lion of Judah with that conquering lion. And now we have talked about how you even became a poet and everything. So, I mean, I get it that when it's released, it's going to be on your birthday. Mm-hmm. But, my birthday come first. So I think as a little birthday, you did sprinkle. Let's give us something from that first joint, that your first book, Music Before Crack.
Let me dust the cobwebs off in my brain.
Right.
So, fun fact, I was 19 years old when I wrote this poem.
Oh, wow.
And this poem, wrote itself. It was some lines in this poem that I wrote and skipped because I was like, I don't want to say that. It was God telling me to say it.
Right.
I wanted to be a regular
I gave you
human.
words.
I wanted to be a normal person.
Look, okay, Moses. I'm going to give you the words now. You better say them too.
But this piece is called Music Before Crack, which is a poem that I was writing about myself, and then everybody was just able to feel it somehow, which was interesting. So I do want to make that point. When I write stuff, especially in the beginning, it's because I know how I think. So music before crack, the drugs that was shipped into the Black community. It was funny, if you watch this movie called To Kill the Messenger, they have the live footage where, the CIA is apologizing to the Black community for putting the crack. So it's not a conspiracy theory,
right.
So just take you back a little bit. Music before crack, see if I still got it.
I bet you he do. He just be humble, y'all. He got it.
Whatever happened to Black music throughout history? Somebody answer that. Praise God, respect and love Black women. See, that was music before crack. Stay faithful and stay grateful. But all of a sudden, music got so hateful it wasn't safe to walk down the street. See, the government couldn't kill us with their hands. So they came up with another plan to destroy our history and get into the minds of the Black kids. But see, the fact is, my generation was born into a trap that was set by the government. And I'm about to explain what that trap is. But first, let me take you back to the 1960s. See, we was boycotting too much. That's when J. Edgar Hoover hired FBI agents to kill off all our leaders and make us forget about what being Black is. 1970s, we was screaming Black power. That's when the government hit us with that crack powder. And by the 1980s, my generation was crack kids and my history just went out the window. Because by the 1990s, we was just Rolling down the street, smoking Indo. Now we got one TV station out of 100 channels so we can sit down and learn to be black. Because when my history went out the window, the television started teaching us how to act. So now when we walk down the street, we think we gotta stay strapped. See, my homie took 2 bullets to the head, now he ain't coming back. My other homie took 4 bullets to the chest, but he's still breathing. Rushed to the block when my cousin got shot, took 1 to the leg and 1 to the head. See, I'll never forget how she was bleeding. Stay faithful and stay grateful, but all of a sudden, music got so hateful it wasn't safe to walk down the street. See, the government couldn't kill us with their hands. So they came up with another plan to destroy our history and get into the minds of the black kids. But see, the fact is, my generation was born into a trap that was set by the government. And now that we so caught up on garbage and acting tough, we don't even realize this government's still trapping us. Closing down black high schools and elementary schools all over this country one by one because they say we got low test scores, but don't give them the best books. Give them the books that came out in 1981. Close down their schools and send them to another destination. Now you got black kids stacked on top of black kids without enough funding for education, so that school gonna close too. Now the cycle repeats, but here's where it gets deep. Next thing you know, they gonna be then closed down so many schools, it's gonna be 100,000 black kids on the street, and they not funding for new schools for inner city kids, they funding for jail cells, so let's use our mind. See, that was the real plan for No Child Left Behind. Now let's press rewind. We used to call our women Nubian princesses and black queens. Marvin Gaye, Luther Vandross, music with no drama, but music after crack. Now we calling our women female dogs and baby mamas. It's so sad. Now all the government gotta do is sit back and laugh. Just like they did when Hurricane Katrina passed. You think somebody cared for black men floating in the river when we calling our women female dogs and they calling us the N-word? And the same government that killed our ancestors and enslaved us? We sat around and waited on them to save us. So focused on rims and getting paid, we forgot how they took needles and injected them innocent Africans with AIDS. See, that crack couldn't kill us. Police guns and bats couldn't kill us. And if that couldn't kill us, then who can? Only blacks can kill us. We killing our brothers. And it's funny how them army tanks, fire trucks, and water hoses disappeared when we start killing each other. See, the government couldn't kill us with their hands. So they came up with another plan to destroy our history and get into the minds of the black kids. But see, the fact is, my generation was born into a trap that was set by the government. So now we looking in the mirror and we don't even know who we are. Because without your past, you can't see your future. And people who can't see their future live day by day. And people who live day by day, they don't think about tomorrow. That's why these blocks is full of pain and sorrow. But I won't lose my faith. Because every time my pen hit this paper, God tells me exactly what to say. We already use time marching and making freedom signs, but the next revolution is a revolution of your mind. So open up your Bibles and put it in God's hands. So that was the rap side of me.
Wow.
I was young buck.
Yeah, because you said 19. Who at 19? Like, if that ain't God, like, who at 19? Like, and I'm looking at you because here's something you may know, you may not know. My mama calls me Angela Davis. Like, she just like, I don't know where you got it from. Whole time she been a part of the Black Panther Party. She actually literally marched with Dr. King. Like, but call me Angela Davis. But nonetheless, like, I'm thinking even at 19, and I was a little militant myself. I had my black leather beret and all the things, but to be able to string all of those words together in that manner.
And I wrote that I wrote it so fast. I wanted to skip the endo part because, I like Snoop. So I'd let me go over this line. And that's
Snoop ain't nothing personal,
And that's when I wrote the stuff about the schools. And I was planning on writing 2 separate poems. And then they came together. And then when I wrote the middle part about the schools, I was like, oh my God, this goes with the first part. And then I started writing the third. And I'm like, I tried to get around it, but man, when I tell you that's God
I was just gonna say,
using
God's
me as
got
a vessel,
way.
yeah,
I'm gonna go real old school with you for a second. God's got a way that you can't go under, you can't go over, baby, you can't go around. You must come in through the door.
I'm telling you.
Wow, that's the genesis. That's the beginning. Music before crack.
Yeah.
So,
it's Jesus. So many different flows in my 4 books of poetry that it feels like you're listening to 10 different people. If I were on stage and do a 3-hour show, which I do have enough material, it's a different flow. You know, in my older
evolution.
age, you know, this particular, what I heard, because you hear it before you write it. So I'm not just sitting there like, what am I going to write today? I hear it. And this new book was like, oh, I want to talk at you. I want to have a conversation.
Okay.
So the new one is like, we having a conversation. The first book, you hear that freestyle battle. But when you get all 4 books and you check them out and you read them, Music Before Crack is the first one. Poetic Praise is the second one. Nothing New Under the Sun is the third one. I love it because you're getting so many flavors. And then you got the Conquering Lion on the 4th one. So your ear is not getting bored. And I switch subjects too, you know, testimony for people that's not me. So, yeah.
And I mean, you got to consider the actual poet, the man himself. There's been growth.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
Granted, I can only speak for about a decade
sure.
of the growth, but there
For
has
sure.
been growth in the actual man.
Yeah.
And there's been more development in the gift
Yeah.
too. Because I've heard you, and it's like, it's interesting how you dance around it. Like, one moment it's like, yeah, I was writing this, and the next one like, man, but God clearly told me. So I can pretty much guess in your process, you're not gonna write unless there's divine inspiration there.
Oh, that is so funny you said that. Because 90% of the time, or maybe I don't even want to write. Like the Conquering Lion, I wanted to go to sleep that night. I was at my sister's house. My niece had a beautiful basketball game. She scored the most points. I'm
Shout out
trying
to
to go to
Jazz.
sleep. Yes. I'm trying to go to sleep. It's 12 o'clock at night. A line popped up in my head, and I said, I'll write it in the morning. Do you know the great sleep that I was about to get? And all of a sudden, I laid down, and here comes the thing that happens on the first book. Sleep anxiety. Can you imagine being excited to get into bed, and right before you get into bed, a line pops in your head? And now all of a sudden, you just laying there and you can't sleep because this line is in your head. So I got up, grabbed my laptop, and I typed the first line. I say, okay, God. And then the second line came. When I tell you I wrote Conquering Lion in about 7 days, and it's a 70-page book, the poems that you hear is like, like I wrote them in like 3 to 4 or 5 minutes, like as fast as I could type them. So yeah, that's interesting that you said that, because God, when he assigns you to do something, you're not going to be able to rest until you do it.
Talk about it.
Anybody struggle with anxiety? It could be spiritual. It could be God telling you need to get up and do something. When I tell you I finished that one poem and went to sleep, I knocked out. And I said, oh,
He was
I'm
like,
good.
glory, glory.
I wanted to go to bed the next day. A line popped up in my head the next day. 2 nights in a row, couldn't go to sleep. And I'm like, and after you write the poem, it's like you're thankful, because had you went to sleep, you wouldn't have came up with none of that.
Right.
It poured out so quick. And next thing you know, it was just running. I was like, okay, this is God. Because like you talked about maturity, like this is God now. Like, okay.
I don't have to second
I'm
guess it
obedient
anymore.
now.
Right.
Speaking of growth, my
Right.
growth is knowing that God is telling you to do something, being obedient. Like that's growth. It was when you're using your gift for God.
Yes, indeed. And while we thinking about this Conquering Lion right there,
Oh.
So the title, The Conquering Lion.
So it's interesting because I didn't expect to be sitting in front of a real life lion. I was in Thailand and the driver was pretty much quiet. And all of a sudden in the middle of the ride, we flew from Bangkok to Chiang Mai, and she randomly said, you want to get in the lion cage? Me and my friend looked at each other. We said, yeah. My other friend said no.
Like, absolutely not.
So my first book, you'll see Music Before Crack, where I have 3 pictures of me, and I'm just being funny at the time. My hair was growing. The second book, I'm taking it back to Africa, and I'm like, okay, my hair got longer. So you see me transforming into this lion, like 3D. The third book, you see me, copycat the Marley, the half face, half lion. And the fourth book, I'm sitting in front of a real lion. And it's like the situation matches with what happened. I feel like I conquered. And when you conquer, that means you just know who you are in God. That's the conquering lion. When you know who you are in God. You at the top of the food chain once you know who you are in God. So it's the evolution. But all the evolution, again, wasn't expected.
Yes.
So, yeah, the conquering lion.
Now I have to ask this because I just have to. When you think about your legacy, what's the legacy you want left of Melvin Blackmon?
I want young men and young women to have the same experience that I had. I want to walk up on them and say, hey, you can do something positive with your gift. Because the Bible says none of us are perfect.
Amen.
The Bible says that we judge by how many people we bring to Christ. With all your imperfections. It's not going to be judged about how many trips you went on, how much money you made, how much success you had. The Bible says he judges you by how many people you bring to Christ. You don't have to be a perfect person to bring somebody to Christ, but if you could make somebody put a gun down, cool. You know, if you can make somebody dance, if you can make somebody shout, beautiful. So that's it.
So your legacy is just going to be positivity.
That's you know.
Reach one, teach one.
Yep. I want the people to say, man, try it.
and tried he did.
Tried.
Because let's speak about these tries. And I'm not even going to call them tries. I would say successes. You know, your journey, you've done a multitude of different things. And one of them was, just as myself, he had a summer program here in Chicago.
Yeah.
Now, you're a single man. You ain't had no kids. You know, no babies that I know of that you got out there. What made you just decide, kids are hungry in the summer. I want to provide a space for them safely to come and get something to eat and not charge them anything?
I got a great way to answer that question. I performed a poem at a club, and the guy came up to me afterwards, and he said, man, I can't believe you got a standing ovation at a club. I wasn't even thinking. I was like, I did the same poem at a prison.
Right.
And he was like, man, I had so much on my mind that I never say because I don't think people would like it. So it's the same way with that food program. A lot of people want to feed the kids that's hungry. So I wrote a grant because I had the confidence to do it. I wrote my 501c3 because I had the confidence to do it. It's not that we can't do it physically. A lot of people don't have the confidence to do it. You get that confidence in God.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like God stops that anxiety because once you walking with him, he going to keep on showing you blessings and you're going to know that you're on the right path.
Yeah.
You're going to know that you're going in the right direction. So I did something that was on my heart that's on everybody else's heart. You see?
And you saw the success that came out of
yeah.
it. Every day
Yep.
you had kids.
Yep. And taught them poetry, literacy. While I was giving them free food, I was also creating poets. Now, you could talk about whatever you want to talk about. You know, talk about something in God, uplift somebody. It might not be Black history. You know, I experienced stuff on the streets that my nieces and nephews didn't experience.
They can't even imagine.
Be
right.
whoever you are. If y'all decide to write poetry, whatever your story is.
Your experience is your experience.
You know, I know what I saw, you know, and I know what I continue to see today because it just comes. Like, I don't pick the subject. I just want to go to sleep.
Look, I'm just obedient, Lord. Like, you be, you know, interrupting my sleep a little bit.
And I appreciate him for doing that now because I understand it. But when you buy my books, I have different sections. So yes, I have a section where it goes into history. Then I got another section where it goes into take them to church. And then I got another section with my travels. So you see different sections in my book, you know, so you're not just going to get beat over the head.
And I'm just going to tell y'all that take them to church, them first two.
We're going to do those. We're going to be back.
Y'all got to get that book. It's on Barnes & Noble. Now, I do want to ask you, because there's a lot of conversations going on right now about our youth.
That's on point.
So I want to know, from your perspective, what do you believe our young people need right now from the adults?
From the adults, we need adults to be adults. We don't need the adults trying to fit in with the kids and have the same insecurities that when they were kids. So, you know, you go around to these different churches, you don't see youth like you used to see youth. Bring your kid in to the youth programs. You know, Chicago got some great things going. Rainbow Push, beautiful. Operation Push. Beautiful, you know, Trinity, United Church of Christ, beautiful. These churches, just community centers got beautiful things going on. The stuff is set up for you. Go in there, you know, you never know. Like, your gift will make a way for you.
Yes.
You might start out hitting the bucket and that'll turn into a drum. You might start out freestyle battle and that'll turn into a book.
Right.
The resources are still there, and it's mind blowing that this stuff is there. The most magnificent speakers, dynamic, prolific, speaking every weekend, Saturday, Sunday. And it's like, wow, I just got a chance to be up close with the CEO of BET. I just got a chance to be up close with Hillary Clinton. Today, I got a chance to be up close with Justin Pearson, state representative in Tennessee. Beautiful, right here. Come on back over to God, black people, because ain't nothing happening in the streets. Yeah. Nothing happening in the streets.
As a church kid that never left the church, I was just like, you know what? Them streets ain't for me. I already know.
It's boring. Streets are boring.
But it is, and I will, get on my soapbox for 2 seconds about this. To your point of the children need the adults to be adults. I need us to remember, while we're talking about the literacy crisis that's going on, I think somewhere along the way, we forgot the critical soft skills and hard skills, I'm going to call them, that we were getting from the church. Remember, kids going to Sunday school, that was a time for you to read out loud. Even if you did struggle, that Sunday school teacher was very quick to be like, what's the platinum rule? No, treat people the way you want to be treated. Or to be, what would Jesus do? Like, do you think Jesus would be okay with you making fun of Sally or whoever because they tripping over the word? Help them. Those Easter speeches, that was public speaking. The fact that our children don't know how to talk to one another anymore. I've read so many studies where they're talking about like the deterioration of actual relationships amongst our youth because they play a game, and besides talking in the headset on the game, they don't communicate, especially with opposite sex. We were all in the children's choir together. We had to sit there, Melvin, you a little flat. Like, and you like, no, Shantae, you was sharp. Like, even those small things, like the Easter egg hunts, the things that the church was doing. And I get it that it's a lot of stuff that's going on in the churches. I get it that it's a lot of people that got some church hurt. But hear me when I say not all churches are the same. There still are some good churches out there, some good ministries out there. And then there are some people, just like how I left the traditional classroom, there are some people that left the traditional ministry and they're deciding to do something that I like to call is ministry outside of the four walls of the tabernacle, because we're so accustomed to saying the church. The church is not that building. That's the sanctuary. The church is the people.
Right.
So even just like what I did with my visionary leaders, I pulled from the church and I still incorporate the church. But for that child that's not ready to step in the church, for that child that mama said, I don't want them to go to church. Baby, I still have a covering for you. Because please believe, little by little, just as I've done in years before, you didn't want to go to church. You had all this views of church and church folk. But all it takes is for the adults to be an adult and show the heart of God as we're called to do. And we'll see a difference. So that is just, Melvin Blackmon is amazing, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow. Thank you.
Yes, you are. And I want to know, what does purpose mean to you in this particular season?
Your purpose is inside of you. Everybody is different. There's people out here who can cook, men and women, chefs. That's your purpose. That's your ministry. Whatever is inside of you. Some people have it inside of them to dance. And they can dance. And they can do stuff that I can practice all day and it just don't happen.
It just don't look the same.
That's your ministry. So your purpose is what's already inside you. You just got to use it for God. Some people are looking for purpose. It's already inside you.
Come on.
You know, whatever you're great at, whatever you love to do, that's your ministry. You can use that to help somebody. Mine's happened to be a poet that saw me rhyming. You see? So that's why
you still rhyming.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like it's more love. You know, I've come to the understanding that, yeah, you have church mess, but it's more love in the church than the streets. And I'm gonna give you a great example. It's more love in any church than the streets. I'm gonna give you a great example. I love and support on everybody, even with stuff I don't agree with. If you got a club you open up and y'all got a bar and y'all got open, drinks and stuff, y'all turn it. I support people, you know, my cousins and, you know, or friends or strength, you know, my background, I know my background. I know I came from freestyle battling in the street, so who am I? But when I came out with my books and you posting it on Facebook,
I know you really
and you
rock
got
with me.
400 strangers over here trying to support you, and all of these people that you supported and being friends with, and it kind of make you say, you know what, I don't know about the streets. Because when I come out with something, no matter what it is, can you support, you know, can you show some love? So you're not going to support a person because they doing something positive? Yeah. And I'm not saying that what they doing is negative. Like, no, I'm not putting negativity in a specific category. But to get back to our point about, you know, the church and, you know, yeah, church can be
It's vital
messy,
to community.
but I'm still, just from my experiences, I'm still going to put church over the streets as far as love. You know, a lot of kids out in the streets looking for love, you know, from gang members and all of that.
And all they need is that mother from the church that used to have candy in the purse.
They gonna support.
All they need is that little bit older than them teenager in the church
if
for
you
them to
beat a
look up
bucket,
to.
I bet you'll get more support in your church than the people driving past and you asking them for $1.
True.
I bet you.
Because they going to say, baby, here you go. Let the Lord use you.
If you're doing a poem or dancing, all these dance teams on 79th and 87.
Sunday, come on, baby.
I bet you, take those kids to one of these programs. I bet you they'll get more than the dollar that somebody get them from their car. I bet you. And that's from my experience. I'm always going to put the church over the streets because of my experiences. Like, you know, because the church accepts you the way you are.
Yes.
You know.
Because the church is a hospital. It's a
Streets
hospital
is more
and a school.
like who look cool to who, you know, who fitting in. So, you know, I'm yeah.
You're like, I'm good on that.
Yeah.
So, as the conquering lion himself, we gonna end on a leadership tip. Conquering lion himself, what would you say to that leader that they seem like everywhere they turn, everywhere they look, they're meeting that negativity? What advice do you have for them to stay in the good fight, stay focused?
Understand who created you, and that person who created you is always going to be in you. So it's two different worlds. We live on earth. It's two different worlds. You got the world, and then you got the spirit world. You can always go to that another world, that spirit world, and get love. You can always go over there. It's a choice, you know. It's there, you know.
Yeah. And with that being said, you know, we're going to end with the conquering lion roaring himself, giving us a debut of one of his new joints.
Ooh.
Look, I'm finna act like we on 106 in Park. Ooh. You know, we dropping a new joint of the day.
Ooh.
You know, from the conquering lion himself, the conquering poet.
Let me tell y'all something about the conquering lion. The conquering lion, he ain't 19 no more. He gonna put these glasses on.
It's evolution.
He gonna put them glasses on.
And the church still love you for it. They just say, oh, you get better with time.
Yeah. So due to what's going on in the world today, and I don't pick the topics to write about. I might be writing about something else. I might write about a car tomorrow. But I wrote this poem called Brown Skin because there's no way when you look at, you know, what's going on, you know, the unfairness with the government and, you know, our youth of color, there's no way that someone would dislike you for the color of your skin for this long. It has to be something more. So I wrote this poem called Brown Skin because it's not the color of your skin that they hate. See, it's the fact that you're great. When Angel Reese put her hand in Caitlin Clark's face, Michael Jordan flying through outer space, they say it's not about race, but Flojo always came in first place. Willie Mays and Hank Aaron coming around first base. Jackie Robinson wasn't safe. See, these are the greatest baseball players to ever play, from home run kings to letting freedom ring. See, they don't want to bow to Simone, but she's the new queen, so let's not forget it. Even Donald Trump accidentally gave us some credit. Donald Trump said that Americans invented everything: the light bulb, the telegraph, the television, the telephone, the computer chip. Black people ain't new to this: the smartphone, the GPS, the internet, the integrated circuit. He said everything perfect, but he failed to say that all of these things were created by a black person, because it's not the color of your skin that they hate. See, it's the fact that you're great. But hold on, I'm not finished. Let's not forget about tennis. Venus and Serena, modern day rock and roll, Jimi Hendrix and Tina, turn another page. Please don't let these folk tell you that you came from a cave. How was country music made? By black descendants of West Africa, they created the banjo. But when Beyonce made a country music song, she almost got canceled. Now, I'm not trying to be a teacher, but the Billboard Award says the greatest singer of all time is a black woman named Aretha. See, it's not the color of your skin that they hate. See, it's the fact that you're great. Black people are number one in every category, and you wonder why they mad. They can't beat it, we too bad. From Michael Jackson to Muhammad with the hook. See, that's the same way the pyramids got took. But let's get back to the book. From jazz music to hip hop, let's get back to the hook. From Otis Redding to Sam Cooke, they stole our music. But it's hard to make soul music the way we lift our voices and sing. From Buddy Guy to B.B. King, created blues by bending strings. See, that Sinners movie explained everything, baby, don't let that devil in, because he will get mad when you win, because it's not the color of your skin that they hate. See, it's the fact that you're great. See, it's survival of the fittest, and they don't want to lose. Nobody hates you more than the person who came in at number 2. Black folk created this country, from technology to production, from jazz to blues, country music, rap music, and percussion. The only thing that we didn't create was weapons of mass destruction. Now, this is my last question. Is it your skin color that they hate? Or is it something about your skin that's great? Maybe it's the melanin in it that's causing us to do so much winning. For some reason, black culture is trending. And for some reason, these vultures want to end it. The Native Americans were brown, the pyramids were black, but Hollywood is pretending. The Constitution needs some amending. But if they made it fair, then I guess it wouldn't be fair, because it's something different about your blood and your hair. Go ahead, touch those. Something different about your blood and your hair. It's like wool and bronze, like something different is flowing through your arms. See, I'm trying to stay calm, but it's not the color of your skin that they hate. See, it's the fact that you're great. And I might come up missing after this poem's a boss, but it's already too late. I got my point across.
Well, prayerfully you don't come up missing.
Conquering Lion.
Available Barnes and Noble.
Give me back.
Say he is the conquering poet himself. And I just want to thank you, Melly.
I want to thank you. Just a little poet, that's all. If I could be this grand and great doctor, minister, come on now.
I mean,
I love minister. I respect past. I respect you ladies and gentlemen, for the strength that it takes to do what you do, baby. Give me my 4 minutes. I'm gonna sit down.
I'm just a lowly teacher. That's it. I say an educator by purpose and passion. But I want to thank you again for showing up here, and thank all of you for watching Visionary Voices. To everyone watching or listening, I hope this conversation reminded you that your story is not wasted. Your pain can indeed become purpose. Your voice can become a tool. Your gift can become service, and your journey, even the hard parts, can become someone else's evidence that they can make it too. Make sure you support Melvin Blackmon. Purchase his books, share his story, share this episode, and stay connected with Visionary Voices. Until next time, keep living with purpose, keep speaking with courage, and keep believing that vision still has a voice. Thank you.
Where your